If you wanted me to give you a word that I think accurately describes my situation, I would have to give you the word condition.
I certainly knew at a young age that I was different. I knew that I didn't necessarily fit in. It took longer to do things. And I've been using my feet ever since I was a child, ever since everybody else learned how to use their hands. On the surface, people would think that's just because that I was born without arms and I use my feet to tackle daily life. But what I think makes me special is the attitudes that I've developed, the will to live life to the fullest, my firm belief that our only real handicaps are in our minds. Driving a car, my right foot operates the gas and the brake pedals, and my left foot operates the steering wheel. When someone sees a condition like mine, they might think, the difficult things might be something monumental, but the challenging things, I think, are always the little things in life.
I'm probably not going to get this all perfect, but you can't help but ask, how does this guy do it? How does he do the day-to-day things in his life that I sometimes have problems doing with my own two hands?
Up until the time that I was 10 years old, I was still pretty dependent on my family. My brothers helped me get dressed in the morning. My friends helped me carry books at school. And that's when my mom and dad implemented tough love and told my brothers that they could no longer help me in any way, shape, or form around the house. And then I was forced all by myself to figure out how to get dressed. And I was a constant up and down on the floor. And I cried and just felt very, very rejected, really. I knew I had to try something.
How do you do that? That means sometimes that we have to die to our old way of thinking.
I have to come up with more creative solutions in a day than most people come up with in a week. Tailoring shirts around the bottom, my watch on my ankle, wearing the wedding ring on my foot. My socks are different. They come from Japan. I literally have had to look all over to find creative solutions that work for me. At the time, all my mom wanted me to do was be able to get my pants on. But I don't think at that moment when she had practiced tough love that my parents had any idea of how that would be a lesson for me in my own life, throughout my life. Limitations and conditions and circumstances can come at your life from all different angles. But if you really cherish your life and you really want to live it, you're gonna get tough on yourself. You're gonna be disciplined and you're gonna do what you gotta do. If I would challenge myself to go back to graduate school, to be an entrepreneur other than relying on the government to support me, to be married and to hopefully have kids someday. Knowing what that feeling was like of being left behind, dependent, handicapped. Now that I've busted through that, I see how that can be applied to so many things in life.
I've become convinced through my travels that every one of us has some type of a condition in our life.
A lot of times when, for example, maybe wrestling something as simple as opening up a can of soup can be real challenging. I have a scar on my chin from when I was a toddler learning how to walk because I didn't have the hands to put out in front of me. And I fell against the kitchen floor or the sidewalk. But perseverance and encouragement from my family helped me get back up again and continue to walk.
Our only real handicaps are those mental and emotional ones that prevent us from participating fully in life.
I mean, he's very independent. He really can take care of himself. But if I can do something that makes his day a little easier or go a little faster, I will.
My wife and I have only been married 7 months, so I think we're still defining our rules a lot.
My dad knew it, that we were going to get married just from being around us a few times. I think if there was any concern about what it was that I was getting into, I would say people held back on saying that.
Whether it's accounting irregularities or whether it's something at home in your life, to not let the condition become the handicap.
I knew what my heart wanted, and I wanted to be with John for the rest of my life. John has coffee cups, plates, everything that he can grab in a lower shelf or drawer.
In my office, many things are on the floor. The keyboard is on the floor. You just have to employ a little bit of creative thinking and some persistence, and things usually open up in some way. And I've spoken to everyone from the Department of Defense to florists, and probably one of the most honoring speeches I ever got to do was to do some motivational work with the Miami Dolphins.
John motivates, and the message sticks more with people is because he lives what he speaks.
Just use my experiences and my story so that people will understand that my being there and speaking is not about a person who doesn't have arms, but it's about a person who goes through struggles and challenges in life.
I see the people at the end of his speeches, how they're touched and moved.
Really, my life is surrounded with a lot of irony. Always wanted to play football, never got to be able to, but I've also motivated a football team. One of the first times I've ever had rejection in my life was from a priest when I wanted to be an altar boy to serve Mass. He wouldn't let me do that. But I've also been blessed by 2 popes. All things are within reach. And it's come from a guy who doesn't have arms and can't reach a lot physically. All things are within reach, but you have to do the reaching.
Why am I proud to have this condition? Because there was a time in my life it determined what I did, where I went, and how happy I was. No longer. Our conditions make us better people. What's yours? Thank you.
If he were born with arms, he'd be a totally different person, and I may not have ever been attracted to him.
Thank you.